Are you running out of things to watch? Well, why not pick up Avatar: The Last Airbender? The show aired on Nickelodeon for 3 seasons from February 2005 to July 2008 and has been picked up by Netflix as of recent. While the pandemic has slowed down its live-action counterpart and fans have been enraged by the original creators being kicked off the live-action remake, let's explore why Avatar: The Last Airbender holds up in 2020 and why fans are still passionate about the show to this day. To start the story off, one of the creators, Michael Dante DiMartino, left Family Guy to go work on Avatar. During the very early stages of development, the show was supposed to take place thousands of years into the future and be more of a futuristic setting. However, it later became a story about the past surrounding Chinese mythology and other elements of Asian culture. The world is divided into 4 elemental nations: the Water Tribes, the Earth Kingdom, the Fire Nation, and the Air Nomads. Well, at least until the Fire Nation attacked. The Avatar typically upholds the balance between the nations, but everything changed when he vanished. 100 years later, a pair of siblings from a water tribe, Katara and Sokka, discover the new Avatar, a young airbender named Aang who was trapped in ice and lived, surprisingly. Together, the pair of siblings help Aang master the elements and save the world. The Fire Nation is still around and they have to deal with them as well. Something interesting to note is that the opening shot of every episode, the shot which contains the episode's number and title, is accompanied by a specific melody. The melody in any given episode is unique and never repeated exactly in any other opening shot. Often, this melody characterizes the episode's most significant event. The only time this kind of happened was in the first and last episode of the series, having different versions of the Avatar theme. Music is a key element of the show for sure. The music has so much thought put into it. From the instruments used to the villain leitmotifs, the drums that come together at the dragon dance, and the duality of Aang's themes that show off his goofy side, as well as the seriousness of what's to come for his destiny. And I mean, there's a reason why we all start crying when Iroh starts singing Leaves from the Vine. So let's talk about some of the characters to get to know them better. The main character is a boy named Aang, a young air nomad born in 12 BG. The arrows on Aang's body symbolizes that he's mastered all 36 tiers of airbending. Looking at his personality, Aang was a fun-loving, somewhat naive, and adventurous with a sense of humor. He has a deep respect for life and freedom, and often tried to avoid fighting because, him being a nomad, did not believe in violence. Katara is a waterbending master, and she was the only waterbender living in the Northern Water Tribe and was living a peaceful life with her family. This peace was fragmented once she lost her mother in the Fire Nation raid. As far as her personality goes, she has a warm, sympathetic, and understanding personality, and often acted as a parental figure to the Team Avatar group. She displayed deep affection for those she traveled with and was fiercely protective whenever danger threatened their safety. Her inner strength kept Aang and their friends together through their most difficult experiences, even in the absence of parental figures. Sokka is a Water Tribe warrior of the Southern Water Tribe and the brother to Katara. Sokka is the comic relief of the show, but he does have moments where you can take him seriously. With the handicap of not being able to bend, Sokka becomes the strategist of the group. His leadership and combat skills grew during his travels with the Avatar gang, becoming a master strategist by Season 2. Katara saw Sokka as a cynical, sexist, and childish person, though she did compliment him for always being a sharp-witted type of guy. He was detached from Katara and Aang's goal of mastering bending. He even openly expressed his dislike for bending since he believed that bending was what got the world into war. He was isolated, working by himself by building up his skill and strength. He thought only ordinary people like himself could ultimately defeat the Fire Nation. You gotta admit though, Sokka might have been the most popular character with the ladies. I mean, spoiler alert, his girlfriend was the moon? The show also has 2 great anti-villains, with Zuko, who wants to capture and eliminate the Avatar to impress his father, and his uncle Iroh, who simply wants peace at this point. Iroh being tired of the war, and having a similar outlook to life as Aang has. And is also the best character! Now, to criticize the show a bit, there are elements that are worth talking about. Something to note: in the first episode of each season, Aang is waking up. This could have either been symbolic for something, a coincidence, or possibly poor writing. When the show starts off, it's a little childish at first, but once you get past the first 3 to 5 episodes, it really starts building the characters more. However, the first season as a whole has a lot of pacing issues and story troubles, like most shows might tend to do starting off. Parts of what didn't work in Season 1 was the pacing of the show, and as well as the few episodes that broke up the main plot in Seasons 2 and 3 did not help either. Sometimes it just felt slow and drawn out, and not going anywhere at times. A positive is that the show keeps you involved by connecting previous episodes together, so if you want to skip a more drawn-out episode, the recap can catch you up. However, while binging the show, it can get annoying if you're watching every episode. Nickelodeon has picked up some bad shows over its lifespan, but not this one. Don't let Season 1 fool you. The show just gets better and better as time goes on. The plot is produced pretty well from Season 2 onwards, with a few hiccups along the way. But despite its flaws, the show manages to achieve a feeling of authenticity and makes the audience more into it by feeling for the characters. The show has a Brad Bird approach to its writing, as it feels like it's being written for adults first and then kids second, though it's clear in some episodes that that's not the case. There was some writing meddling that did happen, and also production issues, but that could be its own video. There's a decent amount of middle-class American teenager TV culture portrayed in the show. In many episodes, the characters do exactly the thing they know is going to get them into trouble. For example, Sokka is always skeptical about the supernatural despite the fact that everyone uses superpowers to bend the elements, or that they've met numerous spirits and hang around a guy that can contact the spirit world. It would be nice if there was an episode where he accepted this fact and moved on, but this character trait is dragged on a lot and making it annoying, and at worst making him look stupidly ignorant of his surroundings. Something else overlooked is how come the waterbenders never thought about sinking the ships by flooding them with water? The waterbenders can also bend ice as well. Clearly no one's ever heard of a ship being sunk by icebergs either. I mean, Titanic, anyone? Too soon? Well, at least at minimum, we feel like even for an episode, they could have shown that the ships were either too strong or that the firebenders attempted to melt them away. This is more subjective, but the campy jokes manage to make sure that the story is not too serious and allows the show to have some fun along the way. Thankfully, the writing and dialogue aren't wooden or too simplistic, making most of the humor pretty good. The design and distinction with conflicts between Aang and his enemies as well as other adversaries themselves give the show more depth. Even though there are some straightforward good versus evil characters in the story, the addition of Zuko's character allows for more nuance to the overall story, also making Iroh one of the most likable characters in the show. Aang and his gang aren't even pure good characters either. Have you seen the amount of damage he's done to that poor cabbage merchant? The writers and the creators of the show trust their audience to get it and try to keep things accessible without talking down to the audience. That takes both talent and skill. Why some people might not like the show is all about the target demographics and nostalgia, really. The main complaint given about the show has been mostly from the anime community and a few other figures in the cartoon community. TV shows, however, are subjective in nature, so it's fine if we happen to disagree with them to a degree. In all fairness, entertainment should be subjective, and people should be able to choose what they like to watch, even if other people might disagree with them. What makes Avatar so great to us is that anyone can get something out of the show, even if it's not from every episode. There are bad episodes of Avatar for sure, but most of them still work in a connected way. This show also has a massive fandom, which allows the show to be spread far and wide despite the original show airing over a decade by the time you're seeing this video. One notable debate in the Avatar community is the question of, is Avatar an anime or a cartoon? American fans state that since it's not animated in Japan, it's not an anime series. However, many fans from Japan say that anime is not based on nationality, but rather an animation style. Because of this, the complete series box set has been reported to be found with other anime box sets in the video stores in America and Japan. So to answer today's question, does Avatar The Last Airbender hold up in 2020? Our answer is yes. There's a huge amount of dedication and respect that went into making it more than just a kids show. There's questions on morals, war, corruption, manipulation, trauma, grief, and so much more. It works today because at every age you may watch the show at, there's more relatable things that you may not have noticed before. While we strongly recommend that Season 1 is not perfect and one of the larger downfalls of the show, the other seasons make up for it, and it's an interesting look into American teenage culture written to characters in a fictional Asian-inspired place. Not to mention about the amazing action and character building. The storyline is excellent with some genuinely funny parts mixed in, with some compelling and touching dramatic story progression throughout the series. The characters aren't your usual two-dimensional types found in most children programming. The characters have weaknesses, strengths, and in some cases fatal flaws. It'll make you think about philosophy and understanding why people become evil. To sum it up, it's half cartoon, half anime like Japanese-American fusion, making for a decent show that still engages people today. It still shows up as references in other TV shows to this day as well. For example, in the Big Bang Theory episode, The Werewolf Transformation, the rhythm Sheldon plays with his banjo is the ending also played with a banjo in the Firebending Masters episode of Avatar. Also in a different animated show, South Park, in the episode Titties and Dragons, Cartman's anime self looks like General Iroh of the Fire Nation of this show. Kind of funny seeing a really likable guy portrayed by a character that is well hated by parents. I think we can all agree that we need more Irohs in the world anyways. And so many YouTubers have talked about the show, it's hard to list them all. But it really shows you how much and how many people care about the show. So what do you think about Avatar The Last Airbender? Do you think it still holds up today? Comment down below your ideas and let us know if you want us to cover the graphic novels, or maybe even the show's successor, The Legend of Korra. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Bye! Hello, I'm Sealdrop. You can support me now by visiting memelo.com, where you can find meme merch, seal pillows, and more. Thanks to every supporter.